If you're over 60 and starting to feel that something down there just isn't working like it used to, you're not alone. Maybe it starts small. You notice your legs feel heavier when you get out of bed. Your mornings feel slower. That familiar spark of energy and intimacy you used to count on, it's just quieter now. And the first thought that creeps in is often the same. Maybe it's just age. Maybe this is normal. Maybe this is just how it goes. But what if it's not age at all? What if the real reason your circulation is slowing down isn't about getting older, but about what's sitting on your breakfast plate? That might sound dramatic, but hear me out. Because while most people are busy blaming the passing years, there's a silent trigger hiding in plain sight. One that could either support your blood flow or slowly steal it away, especially in the areas that matter most. Now here's the twist. When I ask patients what they eat in the morning, I usually get the same answers. Toast, eggs, cereal, coffee, maybe a banana or an apple if they're trying to be healthy. And while all those choices sound familiar and harmless, almost no one mentions the fruit I'm about to reveal. It's not because it's rare. It's not because it's expensive. It's because most people have no idea that this one fruit, bright, beautiful, and packed with ancient compounds, holds one of the most powerful keys to restoring circulation in men over 60. Not just in your heart or your legs, but in the part of your body that's most closely tied to your energy, your confidence, and your connection. Yes, that part. So before we go any further, let's set the record straight. It's not bananas, it's not apples, it's not oranges, it's not even blueberries. This fruit has been called the circulation king by researchers. And when eaten in the morning, it doesn't just boost blood flow, it supports nitric oxide production, repairs tired blood vessels, and activates the very system that helps you feel more alive, more responsive, and more in control. But here's the catch. Most people either eat it wrong or not at all. In this video, I'll not only reveal the fruit, but I'll explain why it works, how to eat it for maximum effect, and what to expect in your body when you make it a regular part of your morning. We'll go into the real science behind blood vessel repair after 60, share the story of one man who turned things around in just 6 weeks, and help you avoid the silent mistakes that keep your circulation stuck in first gear. Because when your circulation works, everything works. And sometimes the right fruit at the right time is all it takes to wake your body up from the inside out. Let's get into it. My name is Dr. Lily Anderson. I'm a board-certified nutrition specialist and a clinical health educator with over 25 years working with men in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. And I'll tell you something I've learned after 2 decades in practice. When a man starts to feel like he's losing his energy, his edge, or his intimacy, it rarely begins in the bedroom. It begins in his blood vessels. See, most men over 60 think circulation is just about heart health or blood pressure, but the truth runs deeper. Good circulation is what delivers oxygen and nutrients to every muscle, every cell, every vital area of your body, including the one that connects you to your sense of masculinity, to your partner, and to yourself. And what many don't realize is that you have more control over that circulation than you think. Not with another pill, not with another risky supplement, but with food. Real food. The kind you can find in almost any grocery store. So today, I want to show you something different. I'm going to walk you through the one fruit that's been quietly overlooked, but when used correctly, can help reignite your circulation, strengthen your vessels, and support nitric oxide in ways you can actually feel. We'll cover the real science, real patient results, and practical ways to use it starting tomorrow morning. Because I believe healing isn't about extremes. It's about giving your body what it's been waiting for. And sometimes, that healing starts with something as small and powerful as what you put on your breakfast plate. So, what is this mystery fruit we've been hinting at? The one that works not only on your heart and arteries, but supports blood flow to your lower body in a way few foods can? It's pomegranate. Yes, pomegranate. That ruby red fruit most people walk right past in the grocery aisle. Or, if they buy it, it ends up as decoration in a fruit bowl or squeezed into a holiday cocktail. But here's what almost no one realizes. When used consistently and correctly, especially in the morning, pomegranate acts like a natural vascular tonic, one that works on multiple levels to restore circulation and rebuild confidence, particularly for men over 60. Let's break this down. Pomegranate is one of nature's richest sources of polyphenols, specifically elagitanins and anthocyanins. These aren't just fancy plant chemicals. They're clinically studied compounds shown to relax blood vessels, reduce oxidative stress, and most importantly, enhance nitric oxide production, your body's key molecule for healthy blood flow. Think of nitric oxide like your body's circulation switch. When nitric oxide is flowing, your blood vessels open up, your tissues get more oxygen, and everything from your energy to your performance feels more responsive. But after 60, your nitric oxide levels naturally decline. That's why you may feel heavier, colder, slower, and yes, less responsive where it counts. Now here's where pomegranate shines. In one study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, pomegranate juice increased blood vessel diameter and improved flow within 30 minutes of consumption. Other clinical trials show that regular intake improves endothelial function, that's the health of the inner lining of your arteries, by up to 35%, especially in older adults with circulation issues. And we're not just talking about general health here. We're talking about blood flow to your pelvic region, an area filled with tiny sensitive vessels that depend on strong nitric oxide signaling to perform. So how exactly does pomegranate help you restore this flow? Let's go deeper. Pomegranate's polyphenols activate the ENOS pathway. That's endothelial nitric oxide synthase, the enzyme that tells your body to make nitric oxide. It also protects nitric oxide from breaking down too fast. That double effect, more production, less destruction, creates a powerful environment for blood vessels to expand and stay open longer. That means better delivery of oxygen, nutrients, and energy to the areas that usually suffer in silence, like your legs, your feet, and your private parts. In my clinic, I've seen men come in exhausted, disconnected from their bodies, and skeptical that a fruit could do anything to help. But after just 3 to 4 weeks of adding pomegranate to their morning routine, they start reporting changes. Their legs feel lighter. Their feet are warmer at night. Their energy picks up in the morning. And sometimes they hesitate for a second, then smile quietly and say, "I'm starting to feel more like myself again, even down there." That's the moment I love most, because it's not just about blood flow, it's about dignity, about feeling like your body is still yours, still strong, still responsive. And that's exactly what the right food can support. But before you run to the store, let me show you how to get the most from this fruit. You don't need to eat a whole pomegranate every day. You don't need expensive imported juice either. What you do need is consistency and timing. Here's what I recommend. Start your day with 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice. No added sugar, no blends, just 100% juice. The best time? About 30 to 60 minutes after waking up, before or with breakfast. This gives your body a steady release of polyphenols during a time when your nitric oxide levels are naturally low and your blood vessels are still warming up from sleep. If you prefer whole fruit, go for half to 1 cup of fresh pomegranate seeds, also known as arils. You can add them to a bowl of plain Greek yogurt, sprinkle them over oats, or simply eat them by the spoonful. And for those who want a more portable option, frozen pomegranate arils are just as effective. Just thaw and serve. A quick word of caution. If you're taking blood pressure medications or blood thinners, talk with your doctor before starting high-intensity pomegranate routines. Pomegranate can naturally lower blood pressure and thin the blood slightly. Great for circulation, but it may amplify medication effects. Still, for the vast majority of healthy older adults, this fruit is not only safe, it's one of the most powerful tools for reclaiming blood flow and energy in the morning. And remember, this is not a quick fix. You won't see fireworks after 1 glass. But what you will feel, if you stay consistent, is something deeper, lighter legs, steadier energy, and yes, that quiet, familiar morning sensation slowly returning. Now, you might be wondering, if this fruit is so effective, why don't more people talk about it? Simple. It doesn't come in a pill bottle. It doesn't have a big marketing campaign, and it doesn't promise instant results. But the science is clear. The results are real. And for men who are ready to take back their vitality without chasing risky shortcuts, pomegranate is one of the smartest and most natural places to start. So what happens when a man commits to this one simple change? What does that journey look like from doubt to transformation? Let me tell you the story of one of my favorite patients. His name is Gerald. He's 68, and just a few months ago, he walked into my office feeling defeated, but walked out 6 weeks later with something he thought he'd lost forever. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Gerald was 68 when he came to see me. A retired engineer from Ohio, he was sharp, polite, and spoke with the kind of quiet precision you'd expect from someone who spent decades solving problems on paper. But this problem wasn't something he could fix with a formula. He sat down across from me, hands folded, eyes a little tired. "Doc," he said, "I don't feel broken, but I don't feel like me either." He paused. "My mornings feel off. I wake up sluggish. My legs feel heavy. And the other stuff, I won't pretend it doesn't matter." He didn't say the words out loud, but I knew what he meant. The spark was fading. The connection, the physical confidence, the quiet pride he once felt, it was slipping. And more than anything, he didn't want to accept that this was just aging. "I still walk every day," he added quickly. "I try to eat clean, but something's missing. I don't bounce back the way I used to." So we looked at his diet, and just like so many men I work with, his breakfast was simple. Toast, black coffee, maybe a banana or a boiled egg. Nothing terrible, but nothing that helped his blood vessels either. That's when I asked him if he'd ever tried pomegranate in the morning. He raised an eyebrow. "Pomegranate? You mean the juice?" I nodded. "Or the seeds, if you like. It's not magic, but it's one of the most powerful natural ways to support nitric oxide and restore circulation, especially down there." He leaned back. "To be honest, I haven't had pomegranate since I was a kid. My mom used to put it in a salad around the holidays." We smiled, and then I gave him a simple plan. Every morning, I asked him to drink 4 ounces of pure pomegranate juice. No sugar, no blends, right after his morning walk. I told him to give it 4 weeks before expecting anything big. Just let it do its work. He nodded, took the paper, and said, "I'll try it. Honestly, at this point, I'm ready for something simple." 3 weeks later, he came back. Same clothes, same polite tone. But something was different. I could see it before he even sat down. His eyes were brighter. His voice had more lift. And when I asked him how he was feeling, he smiled. "It's subtle," he said, "but real." He told me he didn't dread the mornings anymore. His legs didn't feel like anchors. He didn't need to sit down after a short walk. And perhaps most important, he paused, looked away for a second, then back at me and said, "My wife noticed." She didn't say much, just smiled and said, "You seem lighter." That moment, right there, is what this is all about. Because what Gerald was describing wasn't just improved circulation. It was returning to himself, not with drugs, not with pressure, but with something gentle, natural, and deeply human. By week 6, he said something else I won't forget. "I don't feel 30 again, but I don't feel 68 either. I feel like me, the real me." It wasn't a miracle. It was biology. His body wasn't broken. It was just underfueled. And by giving it what it needed, just 1 glass of juice each morning, his system began to respond, to rebuild, to reconnect. And it all started with a fruit he'd forgotten even existed. If Gerald's story feels familiar, if you've ever felt like your body is drifting from who you used to be, know this: you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not out of options. Sometimes, one quiet change, done consistently, can open the door to something you thought was gone, and behind that door is energy, warmth, and yes, a return to confidence. Now, you might still be wondering, how exactly does this work? What's really happening inside the body when you drink pomegranate juice in the morning? Let's look at the science, but don't worry, I'll keep it simple. Let's take a moment to look inside your body, not in a complicated textbook way, but in a simple, real-world way you can picture. Imagine your blood vessels are like flexible garden hoses. When you're young, these hoses are soft and responsive. Water, that is blood, flows easily through them, delivering nutrients and oxygen to every corner of your body, including the areas that keep you energized, focused, and physically responsive. But as you age, those hoses can stiffen. Why? Several reasons. Years of wear and tear, a little plaque buildup here and there, but most of all, less nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide may sound like something out of a chemistry lab, but inside your body, it's essential. It's a messenger molecule. Its job is to tell your blood vessels when to relax and open up. No nitric oxide, no signal. No signal, no flow, no flow, no energy, no performance, no confidence. That's why so many men over 60 begin to feel cold in their hands and feet, why they start to lose morning energy, why their muscles and other areas feel less responsive. The circulation is simply not getting through. So how do we turn that around? That's where pomegranate comes in. Pomegranate contains powerful compounds called polyphenols, specifically L-glutanins and anthocyanins. These aren't just antioxidants. They're more like fuel for nitric oxide. Here's what they do. First, they stimulate your body to make more nitric oxide. They do this by activating an enzyme called ENOS, endothelial nitric oxide synthase. Think of enos as a factory inside your blood vessel lining. When it's turned on, your body starts producing nitric oxide naturally. Second, pomegranate protects the nitric oxide you already have. See, in older bodies, nitric oxide gets broken down quickly by oxidative stress. That's like rust building up on metal. But polyphenols from pomegranate work like a shield. They block that breakdown. That means more nitric oxide stays active longer, doing its job where it matters. And third, pomegranate helps reduce stiffness in your arteries. In clinical studies, regular pomegranate consumption has been shown to improve something called endothelial function. Basically, how well your blood vessel walls respond to pressure and movement. It also reduces arterial plaque thickness in some cases, making the pathway for blood flow smoother and less blocked. To bring it back to our garden hose analogy, it's like restoring flexibility to the hose, clearing out the gunk, and turning up the water pressure. Suddenly, everything flows again, not just in your chest or your brain, but down to the areas that rely on healthy blood supply for sensation, energy, and performance. Still with me? Good. Let's go even simpler. Imagine a light switch. When you're younger, nitric oxide flips that switch easily. Blood flows. Muscles respond. You feel alert, energized, ready. But after 60, that switch gets stuck. You push it, but nothing happens. Pomegranate doesn't replace the switch. It just oils the mechanism, gives it a boost, and keeps the connection strong. That's why so many men feel more awake after adding it to their mornings, not just mentally, but physically and intimately too. Now, here's something else to know. Nitric oxide doesn't just help with intimacy or energy. It also supports your heart, your brain, your immune system, and even wound healing. That's why pomegranate is considered a whole-body circulation booster. One study from Clinical Nutrition showed that men over 60 who drank pomegranate juice for just 2 weeks had significant increases in blood flow velocity and reductions in systolic blood pressure. Another study found that pomegranate extract helped reduce arterial plaque by up to 30% in older adults over 1 year. But you don't need to memorize the numbers. What matters is this. Pomegranate gives your body back something it naturally starts to lose after 60. Not a hormone, not a drug, but a signal, a flow, a rhythm. And when that rhythm returns, everything changes. You move easier. You wake up clearer. You feel more connected to yourself and your partner. And here's the most important part. Your body already knows what to do. It's not broken. It's not done. It's simply waiting for the right support. And that support can begin with something as simple as a glass of ruby red juice in the morning. Coming up, I'll show you how to make this a part of your routine, without stress, without perfection, just small, steady steps. Because at this stage in life, that's how real transformation begins. But first, let's talk about the part that most people miss, the mental and emotional side of this journey. Because knowledge is powerful, but action takes heart. Let's walk through that together next. Let's pause here for a moment, not to add more science, not to throw in more facts, but just to talk, man to man, human to human. If you've made it this far, it means something. You didn't click away when it got personal. You didn't tune out when it got scientific. You stayed. And that tells me you care. Not just about circulation or nitric oxide, but about yourself, about your future, about how you show up in this world and in your relationships. But maybe there's still a quiet voice in your head that says, it's too late, or I've let this go too far, or it's not worth it to change now. Let me tell you something I've told hundreds of men sitting across from me in clinic rooms, in coffee shops, even on long walks when words didn't come easy. It's never too late to care for your body. It's never too late to feel like yourself again. You don't need to flip your life upside down. You don't need to throw out every habit or overhaul your entire diet. You just need to start with one thing, one step, one plate. Maybe it's that glass of pomegranate juice tomorrow morning. Maybe it's choosing to walk a little longer before breakfast. Or maybe it's just deciding quietly to yourself that you're no longer going to ignore the signs your body has been whispering. I've seen what happens when a man decides just one morning that he wants more. I've seen the 72-year-old husband who starts walking with his wife again after dinner, the 65-year-old who finally sleeps through the night without cold feet, the 78-year-old who tells me with tears in his eyes, I didn't think I'd ever feel this kind of energy again. None of them started with perfection. They started with something real. So what about you? What would change if you just made that one small commitment? Maybe it's not about juice. Maybe it's about feeling proud of the man you see in the mirror again. Maybe it's about showing up with energy for your grandkids, or simply walking across the room without that sense of heaviness pulling at your legs and your spirit. That kind of transformation doesn't come from trying to be perfect. It comes from consistency, from doing the small thing over and over until your body starts to trust you again. Because that's what this really is, a rebuilding of trust. Your body wants to heal. It just needs a reason. And that reason can be something as ordinary as what you put on your plate at 7 a.m. So if the idea of changing your health feels overwhelming, start smaller. 4 ounces of juice, a bowl of fruit, one thoughtful step in the right direction. And if you miss a day, that's okay. Just come back the next morning. No guilt, no shame, no beating yourself up. This isn't about discipline. It's about compassion, about giving your body and yourself the kindness of one more chance. And if you're feeling like no one understands what you're going through, like your quiet struggles with circulation or energy or connection are just yours to carry, know this, you are not alone. There are millions of men out there, just like you, quietly searching for a way to feel alive again. And every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you light the way for someone else who hasn't found their first step yet. So take that step. Not next week, not next year. Tonight, place the juice in the fridge. Tomorrow morning, drink it. That's it. One act, one choice, one new rhythm for your body to follow. Because healing doesn't always shout. Sometimes it begins in a whisper and grows louder with every small act of care. You've got more strength in you than you think. Let's keep going. If you're still with me right now, I want to say something that most people don't hear often enough. Thank you, not for watching this video, but for choosing to care, for choosing to learn, for giving yourself permission to ask questions about your body, your health, your future. That choice matters more than you know, because when it comes to circulation, energy, confidence, whatever you want to call it, it's not just about blood flow, it's about hope. About reclaiming the parts of you that time tried to quiet, about remembering that feeling strong, present, and connected isn't something reserved for the young. It's your right, too. I know what it feels like to be told, you're just getting older. I know how easy it is to believe that nothing can change, that decline is inevitable, that silence is your only option. But here's the truth. Your body has not given up on you. And the fact that you're here, listening, still curious, that tells me you haven't given up either. So here's what I'd love for you to do. If this message meant something to you, even a little, leave a comment below. You don't have to write a story. Just tell me. Will you try it? Will you give your body the support it's asking for? Write yes if you're ready to try the pomegranate routine. Or share your experience. What brought you here? What you've been struggling with. I read every comment, and believe me, your words won't just reach me. They might lift someone else who's been sitting in silence, waiting for a sign. And if this video helped you, even in a small way, pass it on. Send it to a friend, a brother, a father, someone who might not know where to begin, but who's been feeling the weight of it all. Sometimes a shared video is the first time a man hears, "You're not alone." And there's something you can do. And if you want to keep learning, growing, and taking back control of your health, subscribe. This isn't about hype. It's about answers, real ones, delivered with honesty, warmth, and respect for the life you've already lived. This journey we're on? It's not about chasing youth. It's about embracing vitality, with wisdom, with dignity, with the quiet strength of a man who still has more to give. So let's keep walking together, one morning at a time, one healthy habit at a time. You don't have to do it perfectly, you just have to begin, and you already have. Thank you for being here. Your body isn't done healing, not even close. Let's keep going.